I built a Claude Code like harness for a specific use case that I had within a few minutes. And what if I tell you that this is actually not only possible for you to do, but it's actually super useful and easy to do as well? I'm talking about building a custom AI harness that uses an underlying intelligent model, but at the same time, you are the one who gives it access to real world tools that helps it interact with your file system, network, database, whatever it is. Let me show you how I built that, why it is important, and how you can have some fun building it for your own internal use cases. So what you're seeing in front of you is an AI harness that I created, which cannot make any modifications to the code base, but instead it is a read-only AI code reviewer. And this is not because I've customized the system prompt, but because this harness is also fully custom made. So I want to walk you through on how this AI harness that I've created exactly works, how you can create something like this on your own, and what are the benefits, why would you want to do that in the first place. For this specific harness, I'm using Baidu's CoBuddy model. I'll share you how do you get access to this model and how do you use this model inside this harness soon. But before we get into it, let me explain you how AI harnesses generally work and what does this whole thing mean. So see, we have discussed a lot of times on this channel that AI of today is basically made of two things. First is the AI raw intelligence that comes with the model. Now, this model could be anything as long as it is smart, it has context length of a few 100,000 tokens, and it's able to make intelligent decisions. The important thing comes down to how do you figure out what harness this model is part of. An AI harness is just simply a way of saying that you have certain parameters, certain things that you have customized around the raw intelligence. And those things are context management. So basically what happens when your context exceeds the size of the context window that your AI agent has. How do you compact it? How do you compress it? All of that. Guardrails, what the model can and cannot do, and what are the permission systems as well. For example, if you're giving your model write access, chances are that you obviously don't want the model to just write random files and just corrupt your code base or file system. If you have observed carefully, if you use Claude Code, you would have observed that Claude Code has an interesting guardrail where it actually does not allow you to write a file until and unless you have not read the file before. So Claude's team has created an AI harness, which is Claude Code, in a way where they restrict the AI model from writing any file before the model has read this file. This is a behavior that I've seen, which is completely a harness feature, right? So you can create your own little harnesses, which has these features. So I would categorize that in the guardrails part. Then there's a whole tool thing as well. How many tools you're exposing, what sort of access you're giving people, your AI agent in the real world, right? So this could be as simple as just read-write files, network access, maybe like web search. If you have a database, you can give your AI agent access to that, and so on, right? So the amount of tools you want to give it access to natively could be any number. There are a couple of more things. For example, safety features could also be there. Verification could also be part of this. But the core idea is that you design the AI harness in such a way where your AI agent lives and it interacts with the real world using the tools that you have given it. Now let's take a look at this AI agent that I've created, an AI harness basically, which is basically the CLI that has the CR as a shortcut. So if I run this, you're going to see a bunch of things happening. First things first, as you see, when I run this invokes a TSX file. It's a read-only AI code reviewer, which is running inside this folder right now. And it shows me a bunch of files which are not committed yet. Then I have deliberately given the system prompt as well, which is you are CR, a meticulous senior software engineer doing focused code review. Now again, because I am developing this harness, I can figure out the system prompt. This can be anything basically, but I'm keeping it focused to code review for now. If you look at tools like the other AI harnesses which are available, for example, Open Code is there, Claude Code is there, Codex is there. In fact, if you look at tools like ChatGPT, I would also say like this is also sort of a harness, right? If you look at, for example, Claude desktop app, right? Not the coding app, but the desktop app. You're going to see that these apps, for example, Open Code, Claude Code, and Codex, these apps over here would have system prompts specific to coding specific use cases, right? And even in that case, you're not really sure like what kind of coding is happening or, what's going on with the model in the first place. On the other hand, ChatGPT and Claude Desktop would almost not have any sort of coding specific instructions in their system prompts. So one advantage when you're building your own AI harness is that you can figure out exactly what goes inside the AI agent and comes out of it. So this is just a basic system prompt. I've just generated this using AI, but the core idea is that, this is an AI agent or AI harness that you are gravitating towards just the code review, right? Now you might think of like what's the use case of something like this, but an obvious use case, which is super important and interesting, is imagine that you create a custom AI harness inside your own company for code reviews, which is specifically running inside GitHub CI on every commit or anything. And it's using a model like Cobuddy, which is an extremely cheap model. You can also get this model from Baidu's official website, Baidu Qianfan. If you scroll down to the model list, you're going to see this Cobuddy model, which is what I'm using today. So this model has about 128,000 input token limits, an output modality of text, and it's an ultra low end-to-end latency model specifically for coding and AI agentic scenarios. I will have all the links in the description for you to try out this model in this app as well as in your own apps. Of course, in order to access the model, you have to create an API key, which I just did. And once you have done that, this is where the API call actually happens. And this model follows the same OpenAI spec, the chat specification. So it should be simple for you to swap in this model if you're already using any OpenAI compatible model. So now if I go inside my terminal and write the same command, you're going to see on the bottom, we have this little bit of area, which is sort of like a prompt, which is almost like a input waiting for my keyboard to write something, and then it'll send it to the AI. So let's do that. I'm going to write it, hello, how are you doing today? Hit enter. It's going to think because it's a thinking model. And as you can see, it says me, hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How about you? If you have any code changes you would like me to review, just point me at them and I'll take a look. So as you can see, it automatically gravitates towards coding review sort of thing because of the system prompt that we have given it. So let's say I give it a change, give it a task. Can you review files edited but not committed yet? Which is basically the whole AI agent itself. It's reviewing its own code base at this moment, right? So as you can see, it instantly reads file. It instantly does the git def. There is no def to review, so it's not doing anything. But you can also see like I have chosen to have thinking process visible to me. And because I've only given it access to the read file tool with the path prefixes and everything, it cannot physically write the file or corrupt the file system by any chance. It can, yes, it can run into problems where it's, just basically doing a lot of tool calls repeatedly, and those sort of guardrails you can keep on adding as you are building your AI harness. But the core idea is that it's as simple as this, just like I'm showing you, in order to get an AI harness up and running. For all these files, you can see it's taking in all the inputs of the lines so far because it can. But if, let's say, if this was a 1,000-line file, probably it would automatically chunk it down to the first 100 or 200 files, 200 lines of code, and then read as it needs, right? So that intelligence comes from the AI itself, but you have to give it the tools in order to read the file in the first place. And as you can see, we have a bunch of thinking process, first of all, which is not properly organized. You can organize this. And then we have sort of like a markdown of, the output that it thinks. So it does say to me that the code is clean and well designed. The only actionable issue is the token budget edge case in the trim history, which is fine because I myself have white coded this tool mostly. So that should not be an issue. But the idea here is that realize this, how powerful this is. For example, you have your own AI harness, which can do custom weird things, right? Imagine, I'm just giving you a CLI example, but this can also be a GUI app for you to make it easier for your teammates or for your internal people to do something. Let's say, I'm just giving you an example, but let's say that you have a business of a SaaS product or something where, this product over here is deployed on some demo.xyz.com domain. And let's say that instead of, I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but assuming that this sort of instance is fully independent from other instances that you have of this SaaS product, right? So one interesting use case that you can think of is imagine that you develop a custom AI harness over here, which allows you or your salespeople rather, or your marketing people to just directly modify whatever changes they want on the website using the AI that you have. Now, internally inside this, obviously you can use any model of your choice. I would still recommend looking into Cobuddy. It's specifically optimized for coding and agentic use cases. But this AI model that you have is part of the AI harness that you have built. And if you give this AI harness, whether in form of a CLI or a GUI to your teammates, this AI harness would have access to just this code base directly and with the ability to deploy the changes without any permissions or whatever. And even like, if you want to just figure out who's doing what, even a monitoring stack, which shows like who did the last change. The core idea is that you can build these tools today. It's possible to build these interesting AI harnesses products. All you need is a little bit of motivation, a use case to solve, and an AI model which is intelligent enough to do this work inside the harness of your choice. If you want, I can also leave the link for this project, the AI harness that I just did, in the description below. It could be a GitHub project, just check it out. And all you have to do is extend on top of this. It does not has to be a CLI tool, but CLI tools are the simplest to start with. So that is why I showed you that example today. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Do let me know in the comments, what do you think? What sort of AI harness do you want to develop, or have you developed so far working in your company, on your personal projects? Because this is not only just actually useful, but super fun as a developer as well if you're developing such things. So that's all for this video. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Do check out CodeBuddy. All the links are in the description, and I'm gonna see you in the next video very soon. If you're still watching, make sure you leave a comment, "I watched till the end" below to tell me that you were still here, and let me know what do you think about the video.